wait, this was for your fiancée. That was, I mean, she must be feeling so special and so happy. I mean, it doesn't feel like a karaoke song. This feels like something that you made your own. Congratulations tonight.
Thank you.
Holly, quick comment.
Yeah, vote. We love you. You're adorable. Vote. Only 3 are going through.
Listen, Richard, how does this feel? How does this whole experience feel for you right now?
Oh, my. Simon, your people behind the stage are just as amazing as you folks out front.
Good luck tonight, Richard. Okay, Richard needs your votes. Get online or use the app. You have until 7 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. You're the only people who can pick the 3 semifinalists. So vote, vote, vote. It's now or never, people. Hakuna Matata Acrobats are through to the finals. I'm Terry Crews. Good night, America.
All new American Ninja Warrior, Monday at 8/7 Central on ABC.
Live from Rhinelander, this is News Watch 12 Weekends, the Northwood's best news, with Jake Force, meteorologist Conrad Sapinski, and Will Harrelson with sports. News from where you live starts now.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Jake Force. United States Secretary of State Anthony Blinken arrived in Israel Sunday night. A State Department official says Blinken will meet Monday with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, and President Isaac Herzog. The stakes for the meetings are high. Neither Hamas nor Netanyahu have accepting the, quote, bridging proposal, unquote, put forward by the U.S. last week. However, U.S. officials have voiced optimism about bringing ceasefire and hostage negotiations to a close this week. Following his meetings in Israel, Blinken will travel to Egypt, which has been a key negotiator in the ceasefire talks. In Ohio, a second body was found in the Ohio River Saturday in downtown Cincinnati. That's a day after a body was found near the Taylor-Southgate Bridge, about a mile away. It is not known at this time whether the deaths are related to each other. Authorities have not yet publicly identified the body found on Saturday. It's also unclear how the individual died or wound up in the river. Police confirmed and now say the death is being investigated as a homicide. Well, Chase, definitely a lot nicer than yesterday outside.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Beautiful day today. And it's going to be like that for the next few days. Lots of temperatures in those mid-70s, lots of sunshine. So we definitely got some good weather on the way. Take a look at those temperatures out there right now. It's going to be a little bit of a cooler night tonight than we've seen the past few nights. Look at Rhinelander. We can see 59 degrees there right now. And up north, a little bit cooler. Eagle River at 55 degrees. Over here towards Phillips, 57. So they're right in between us. And if you look down south, lots of temperatures are still pretty warm out there. Wapaka and Wisconsin Rapids at 68 degrees, and we got some mid-60s by Wausau and Mosinee as well. Continuing on, let's take a look at that radar. It is clear right now. It's going to be like that for the next few days. Lots of clear skies for tonight. If you saw that moon is pretty full. Tomorrow's the official full moon, but it's a very nice view out there for tonight. And we got those wind speeds out there. Very, very calm, especially here in Rhinelander, just around 3 miles per hour. A little bit still of a breeze down south Mosinee with a north wind right around 9 miles per hour, but those winds should calm going in later on into tonight. So as we take a look forward on into tonight, those lows are going to be much cooler than we've seen the past few nights. We got a forecast low right around 49 degrees. Jake?
Thanks, Chase. Ukraine says it has bombed a key bridge in Russia's Kursk region. A Ukrainian Air Force commander released this video showing the strike on the bridge that spans the Siem River. Ukraine's military says the destruction of the bridge will impact Russia's ability to send reinforcements and supplies to the embattled region. Russia's foreign ministry and the regional governor have confirmed the destruction of a bridge in the area. Kyiv has claimed to have taken control of 82 settlements over an area of 440 square miles in Kursk since August 6th. The Democratic National Convention kicks off Monday in Chicago, and Vice President Kamala Harris hopes to capitalize on the momentum her campaign has achieved since becoming the nominee. President Joe Biden is also slated to appear in the first night where he is expected to, quote, pass the torch to Harris and mark an end to his 50-plus year career in politics. Rob Kirkpatrick has more.
All eyes are on Chicago as the city prepares to host the Democratic National Convention in less than 24 hours.
We are ready for this convention. In fact, the city of Chicago, as you know, has hosted the most conventions in our country's history, because it turns out we're actually really good at this.
The first night will be centered on President Joe Biden and giving him a hero send-off as he closes out 50-plus years in politics.
This is a man who's accomplished more in 3.5 years than most presidents get done in 8. So we're going to see a celebration of him.
The presidential campaign changed drastically when Biden announced he would not seek re-election and endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris to be the nominee, which galvanized Democrats.
Kamala Harris has brought the party together with Tim Walz. I think that collection, that pair, it has turned this place into, well, frankly, it'll be like a rock concert. I think people are going to be cheering and pretty excited.
Each night of the convention will have a different theme, with star-studded speakers, including former presidents and first ladies, Barack and Michelle Obama, and Bill and Hillary Clinton. Meantime, the latest CNN poll of polls shows Harris with a narrow lead over former President Donald Trump, 50% to 48%. And the vice president and her running mate, Governor Tim Walz, are not slowing down. They're doing a bus tour through the battleground state of Pennsylvania Sunday before heading to Chicago. I'm Rob Kirkpatrick reporting.
The annual Footstock Barefoot Water Skiing Tournament was held in Crandon today. Coming up, we'll have more on this special Crandon tradition. That's after Weather with Chase when we return on Newswatch 12.
Eric Hovde, multimillionaire California banker, named one of Orange County's most influential residents. A glamorous lifestyle, the best parties. Hovde bragged about being in the 1%, but accused Wisconsin farmers of not working hard. Now, this California banker wants to buy a Senate seat in Wisconsin. Eric Hovde, what an arrogant, phony fraud. DSCC is responsible for the content of this ad.
I'm attorney Christine Bremer. We represent many seniors who've been in accidents. It's heart-wrenching to see and terrifying for the elderly and their families. Handling these cases requires compassion, attention to details, and an understanding of the special needs of seniors. At Bremer and Trollope, we know that it takes a steady hand to handle injuries to our seniors. It takes a focus on people, because the right results matter most.
Come to Carpet City Flooring Center and get the toughest waterproof floors in the industry, where they're in stock and on sale. Rigid Maximum XL is 50% thicker and 30% longer, resulting in maximum durability, which is perfect for active families and pets. Not to mention, it's easy to install. Come to Carpet City Flooring Center to get your Rigid Maximum XL waterproof floors today.
Carpet City, our prices will floor you.
She grew up in a middle-class home. She was the daughter of a working mom, and she worked at McDonald's while she got her degree. Kamala Harris knows what it's like to be middle-class. It's why she's determined to lower healthcare costs and make housing more affordable. Donald Trump has no plan to help the middle class, just more tax cuts for billionaires. Being president is about who you fight for, and she's fighting for people like you.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Whether you're just beginning your educational journey or seeking a new opportunity, we're here for you. At North Central Technical College, we have unique partnerships with four-year colleges that allow you to transfer seamlessly to and from our campus, saving you time and money. With hundreds of transfer options available, the path to a bachelor's degree and a great paying career are just a step away. North Central Technical College. Start here, go anywhere.
Welcome back, everybody. Hopefully you're having a great night out there. We got some clear skies, and we almost got a full moon. That moon tomorrow is going to be full, and it's called the Sturgeon moon. For now, we got clear skies, 59 degrees out there right now. It's going to get a little bit cooler out there. Just a little bit of a breeze from the north, 3 miles per hour. Nothing really worry about there. Dew points at 54 degrees, so it is pretty humid still out there for tonight. And that pressure did get above that 30-inch mark, so now we still have some rising pressure that is going to last throughout the next few days. Take a look at those highs for today. 75 degrees degrees in Rhinelander, nice and warm out there for us, just above that perfect average temperature, right around 72. And then we see lots of areas that get a little bit warmer down to the south. We see Stevens Point at 80 degrees, Wapaka at 79. So very, very warm temperatures, even over to the southwest, the Eau Claire at 81 degrees. So a nice warm day out there for us. And it's going to be like that for the next few days. But first, let's talk about those lows we're going to see early in the morning. Looks like around 5 a.m. It's going to get right to 50 degrees. It's going to be pretty chilly out there. That cold pool is going to be centered right over here by Phillips. That's where we're going to see some upper 40s over there, 48 degrees for them. And then down south, lots of low to mid 50s as well. Stevens Point at 53 degrees. Continuing on into the day, we're going to be just like we were today, right around 75 degrees with sunshine. We might even get up closer to those upper 70s up here in the Northwoods. Lots of areas by Eagle River will stay in those low to mid 70s. And down south, we could see areas in those mid 70s as well. And they could get back up into those upper 70s, maybe even those low 80s with lots of sunshine. All right, let's take a look at that temperature trend throughout the week. Looks like we got some very nice temperatures. We are going to be right around those mid 70s Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll get back into those upper 70s Thursday and Friday. And then it's going to start to get very hot out there. Saturday and Sunday will be in those mid to upper 80s, a high of 87 on Sunday. So it's going to be very hot going into the end of next weekend. All right, take a look at that radar out there. We see nothing out there. Nice clear skies, no rain in the area. So that is definitely a plus for us. Nothing to worry about rain-wise. And tomorrow we might have a few hiccups right around noon. There may be a few stray showers. So we may have a little bit of a cool down for tomorrow, but it's not going to bother us too much. Those storms will, or those rain showers will dissipate very quickly, and then we will be in the clear throughout the rest of the night into Tuesday morning. All right, for tonight, we got mostly clear skies, and we are going to have some patchy fog around that will develop after midnight, so be careful driving, especially during or on those rural roads where it could be very hard to see with fog out there. Winds are going to be calm tonight, so that is what is going to bring those lows to right around 49 degrees. For tomorrow, mostly sunny skies. It's going to be another beautiful day. Highs right around 77 degrees if we get lots of sunshine. Winds are going to be from the north right around 5 to 10 miles per hour, so another beautiful day is ahead. Let's take a look at that 7-day forecast brought to you by Northwoods Furniture and Mattress. We may have a few hiccups tomorrow with a few rain showers, but other than that, beautiful day ahead, and that is going to be followed by Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, lots of sunshine, temperatures in those mid to upper 70s, and then going into next weekend, it's going to get hot with temperatures with 80s, with a high of 87 on Sunday. Jake?
Thanks, Chase. A resurgence of bird flu is once again causing egg prices to rise. Egg prices jumped 16% in July compared to the same month last year, according to the Consumer Price Index report that was released earlier this week. By comparison, the entire CPI basket of items rose just 2.9% over the same period. The increase is being blamed on the continuing spread of the highly pathogenic avian influenza, also known as bird flu, which is causing supplies to dwindle. The bird flu has had a historic outbreak in 2022 and surged once again at the end of 2023, and resurgences in Colorado and California are again having an impact on supplies. The average rate for a dozen large eggs, grade A eggs, topped $3 in July for the first time in more than a year, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Despite this reacceleration, prices are still more than 20% below levels seen last year. Nonetheless, the price of eggs was tracked within the CPI basket up to about 42% compared with July of 2021, before the first major outbreak of avian flu in 2022. And water skiing is a favorite summertime outdoor activity for many throughout the Northwoods, and barefoot water skiing takes the sport to a whole new level. Newswatch 12's Austin Carisu attended Footstock 2024 in Crandon that took place this weekend and has more on why the skiers love to do it.
It's just a really wonderful traditional event here in Crandon.
Footstock is an annual barefoot skiing tournament in Crandon that has been going on for over 40 years. The event sees competitors from around the country as well as from Canada.
It's a tournament to see who can go the farther on their bare feet behind a boat. So it's a bracketed tournament, and that's why you see the brackets behind me. It's a double elimination, so you get 2 falls. And it's been going on since the 1980s as a fundraiser for the Crandon Water Show ski team.
Over 100 skiers competed throughout the weekend. The skiers are sorted into different brackets based on multiple different factors.
Our junior division, they can only ski in it up to 16. We have had them as young as 8 and 9 in that division. I think this year our youngest are around 12. Then we have a ladies division. We have a senior division, which is men or women over 40, and there's a master's division for 60 and over.
And one of the long-standing traditions is a competition between a male and female skier in the men's division, and if the man loses, he has a new shirt he could show off.
One of the traditions at Footstock is the pink T-shirt, because some of the girls are really good, like Sophie Milosevic here from Eagle River. Rhinelander girl, a hometown girl. Very good water skier. In the men's division, so good that she beat Johnny. So Johnny gets to wear the I was beat by a girl official at Footstock pink T-shirt.
Hang on. Reporting in Crandon, Austin Carisu, Newswatch 12.
Thanks, Austin. And we'll take a quick break. But when we come back, the election in Venezuela that is now drawing attention from all over the globe. We'll learn more about the protests it's now sparking when we come back.
I'm Tammy Baldwin. I approve this message.
I'm the proud son of a single mom.
My mom worked nights to provide for us.
My mom worked 80 hours a week.
But Eric Hovde thinks if you have a single mom, you're going to be poor or a drug addict?
That is a direct path to a life of poverty. It leads to higher drug rates.
That just shows Eric Hovde is ignorant.
Come on, I'm successful today because of my mom.
I learned my work ethic from my mom, my single mom.
What is wrong with this guy?
Get up to 57% off list. The anniversary sale at Slumberland Furniture ends soon. Big deals, lots of big deals. Like this sleek sofa for just $6.98. Sit back and relax in a Lazy Boy recliner for just $4.99. This ultra cozy reclining sectional, just $12.95. Plus totally free doorstep shipping. And our 365-night sleep guarantee on mattresses. It's the final days of the huge anniversary sale at Slumberland.
The Make It Ford Summer Sales Event is on. Amazing offers and a great selection of the best-selling trucks in America for 47 years. Ford F-Series, gas, hybrid, or all-electric. These are the deals you've been waiting for. So don't wait. Make it Ford. Make it yours. Make it now. Make it Flex Buy on a new Ford F-150 and get 0.9% APR financing for 66 months plus $2,000 Flex Buy cash only at your local Wisconsin Ford dealer.
We know the fentanyl coming from Mexico and China is a threat here in Wisconsin.
It's why Tammy Baldwin is working to stop it.
And Tammy passed the bipartisan Fend Off Fentanyl Act.
That takes on the Mexican cartels and the fentanyl coming from China.
And Tammy Baldwin voted 32 times to strengthen our border.
32 times to increase border patrols.
And technology to keep illegal drugs out. Because Senator Baldwin knows
keeping us safe is her first priority.
Tell Tammy Baldwin to keep securing our borders.
A shootout Saturday at Joint Base San Antonio Lackland, where Air Force personnel exchanged gunfire with a shooter who opened fire 2 different times at an entrance gate. The first shooting was around 2 o'clock Saturday morning when authorities say a gunman shot at guards stationed at the Gate A to a training complex. More guards were sent to the gate, and then before 5 yesterday morning, a car stopped outside the same gate and a gunman opened fire again. Guards fired back at the gunman who got in the car and took off. No one at the base was hurt, and it's not known how many bullets were fired in the gunfight or what the motive was. The latest search for more remains from the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre has ended, with 3 more victims found with visible gunshot wounds. The state archaeologist says one of the 3 also had burn injuries. This search was the 4th since the project was launched in 2018. More than 120 graves have been found during the searches. A World War I veteran was the first person identified in July. The massacre in 1921 began when a white mob looted and burned Tulsa's Greenwood district, also known as Black Wall Street, and killed as many as 300 black people. More than 1,200 homes, businesses, schools, and churches were destroyed, and thousands were forced into internment camps overseen by the National Guard. There is global outrage over Venezuela's presidential elections, protesters taking to the streets throughout the world as the country's opposition leader fights for democracy in Venezuela and makes a dire warning to the United States. NBC's Jose Diaz-Balart reports.
Today, outrage in Miami and cities around the world. Thousands protesting Venezuela's contested election. The demand for freedom and democracy playing out in cities throughout Venezuela as well, condemning leader Nicolás Maduro, who insists he won re-election over opposition candidate Edmundo González Urrutia. I spoke with opposition leader Maria Corina Machado, who's been in hiding, now out and risking her life, with a dire warning about why this matters to the U.S.
If Maduro decides to stay by force for more months, we could be seeing millions of Venezuelans in a matter of months crossing our borders. I'm talking about 3, 4, 5 millions of Venezuela that will go all the way up Central America and many to the southern border of the United States.
The protest against Maduro, deadly. More than 20 killed, thousands more arrested. Detentions continue today. Yet Machado and the opposition remain determined and defiant. How are you going to continue when there is a huge target on your back?
There is a huge target in the back of many, many Venezuelans, and we are not going to let go. We will not abandon our people. We will keep on moving this movement forward.
And that was NBC's Jose Diaz-Balart reporting. High school football season is starting up soon, and the WJFW sports team made another stop to preview a local team. Coming up after the break, we'll take a look at this year's Three Lakes squad.
Before she was the most liberal U.S. senator, Kamala Harris was the liberal San Francisco prosecutor, the most progressive in all of California. She let an MS-13 gang member go, who then murdered a father and his 2 sons. She agreed to release another felon, who then committed murder. And Kamala even protected illegal alien drug dealers so they could escape deportation. Kamala Harris, a dangerous San Francisco liberal. Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Your home is more than just a roof, walls, and windows. It's an investment, a place where memories are made with friends and family. Overhead Solutions wants to earn your business and help you with all of your roofing needs. Call us for a free estimate today.
There are trucks, and then there's the GMC Sierra, available with the connected driving experience and the world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate. GMC Sierra. It's the truck. Or get $3,500 purchase cash on select GMC Sierra models. Or get a total of $6,000 purchase allowance when you trade in an eligible vehicle.
Visit your North Central Wisconsin GMC dealer.
Get an 11% rebate on your tiling project at Menards. Give any room a fresh look with the beauty and durability of tile from Mohawk. Mohawk features over 350 ceramic, porcelain, mosaic, and glass tiles. Crystal slate tiles are $139 each after rebate. Complete your tiling job with professional quality installation materials from Tech. We carry Tech mortar and grout for all floor and wall tile sizes. Get Sturdy Flex mortar for only $11.79 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
Everyone deserves the fastest, most reliable internet speeds, regardless of where they live. That's why Spectrum offers the fastest speeds in more neighborhoods than any other provider.
Switch to Spectrum Internet for only $49.99 a month. Call 1-833-376-4999.
With Spectrum Internet, you can power all of your devices to enjoy streaming, video chatting, and gaming. I rely on Spectrum Internet. You should too. Call now.
Take a trip on an elegant culinary journey with Chef Luke as he coaches Agnes, Jeff, and the audience to create elegant dishes that you can make at home. Join them on Up North at 4. Brought to you by Triggs.
With football season just days away here in Wisconsin, the Newswatch 12 sports team is continuing to visit local schools as they prepare for the start of the season. Tonight, we head north to Three Lakes as the Blue Jays enter 2024 after a state quarterfinal appearance last season. Drew Celli has the story.
Blue 18, hit!
The Three Lakes Blue Jays are coming off of a quarterfinal season in 2023. The 2024 has plenty of changes, including at head coach. Justin Zeus has taken over for Tyler Maney, and the Blue Jays players have made the adjustment a smooth one.
It's not too hard because Mr. Zeus was always around last year. So we know him pretty well. We all respect him. He's a good coach.
2 weeks away from the start of the season, the Blue Jays are still in the opening stage of practices. For the leaders of the team, they are using the opening days of camp to help get the younger players up to speed with expectations.
We're really taking these first practices seriously. We're not quite to full speed, we're taking it easy, but teaching these new kids, hey, this is our procedure, this is how we do this. Stuff like that.
Three Lakes replaces as much senior talent as any team in the state this season, but to fulfill their playoff expectations, there are plenty of guys on the team who are going to have to fill big shoes as the season opener nears.
Us older guys are definitely going to have to step up and fill some shoes of the guys last year, and definitely some younger guys are going to have to step up, and we're going to have to really push them and get them into the swing of things because there's a lot of spots to fill this year.
The season opener is less than 2 weeks away for Three Lakes. Their journey back to the 8-man playoffs will get started on August 30th when they host Gillett to get the season underway. Reporting in Three Lakes, I'm Drew Shelley, Newswatch 12.
Thanks for that, Drew. The Milwaukee Brewers were back in action at AmFam Field today, squaring off against one of the American League's best teams, the Cleveland Guardians. It was a big statement opportunity for the Brewers as after taking the first two outings, Milwaukee looked to complete the series sweep. Brewers, Guardians, Game 3, let's get into the action. First inning action here, man on third for Willie Adames, and he slaps one into center field. That gets down for a base hit and will score Terang from third, and the Brewers take the lead 1-0. On to the second, 2 on, 1 out with Eric Haas up to bat. He hits a grounder to shortstop dives for it, and the only play is at first, and Frelick will come in to score to make the Brewers lead 2-0. Over to the sixth, Colin Ray is pitching a gem, but looks like this one is hammered to right field. But no fear, Sal Frelick is here as he makes the brilliant catch for the out. Brewers would go on to win the game 2-0. Here's what Brewers manager Pat Murphy had to say about Colin Ray's outing post-game.
He gives you it every time out. What you see is what you get. It's who he is as a human. Every day the same. Every day, doing everything he can to help out whoever's around him, whatever the mission is.
Murphy also spoke about the performances of his pitching staff this weekend.
The way our pitching staff has stepped up this weekend against a team that has more wins than we do. They're a really good team that's beaten some really good people. And to step up the way it has is incredible.
The Brewers will be back in action Tuesday when they head out to St. Louis for a matchup with the Cardinals. Now taking a look at the NL Central standings, the Brewers to the top of the division at 72-52. The Cardinals are in second place, 11 games behind the Crew. The Chicago Cubs are in third place, 11.5 games out of first, followed by the Cincinnati Reds in fourth, 12 games out of first. And rounding things out in fifth place are the Pittsburgh Pirates, 13.5 games out of first place. Game 2 of the NFL preseason kicked off today for the Green Bay Packers as they headed out to the Mile High City for a matchup with the Denver Broncos. Many of the starters for the Green and Gold would not be suiting up, meaning it would be time for the young kids to make their case to be on the regular season roster. This one was a tough one for the Green and Gold as they gave up 17 first-half points. Packers offense couldn't get anything going today, with today's points coming from the defense and a safety. Denver wins the game 27-2. We'll have more for you right after the break.
Kamala Harris has spent decades fighting violent crime. As a border state prosecutor, she took on drug cartels and jailed gang members for smuggling weapons and drugs across the border. As vice president, she backed the toughest border control bill in decades. And as president, she will hire thousands more border agents and crack down on fentanyl and human trafficking. Fixing the border is tough. So is Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
At Lakeside Living Design, we've always got something stylish in store for you. Whether you're looking for high-quality custom upholstery, decorative accessories and gifts, or are designing your space entirely from scratch, you'll have a friendly designer by your side, sharing their expertise, helping you bring your unique style to life. So stop by, explore our showroom, and together we'll make your space feel just like home.
Keep 13 grand in your pocket when you buy your next truck. Check this out. This 2024 High Country is 85 grand. This used 2024 is 72. Buy the used and keep the 13 grand. If you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Come out to Len's Truck today. We have hundreds of high-quality used trucks, all priced to move.
Len's Truck. Len's Truck. We got the trucks at Len's Truck.
Flannery Materials in Woodruff supplies homeowners, business owners, landscapers, and construction companies with exceptional materials for jobs both large and small, offering premium soil, sand, gravel, and rock supply with convenient pickup and delivery throughout northern Wisconsin and the UP. Formerly High Point Sand and Gravel Pit, Flannery Materials provides premium landscaping materials to help make your next project a dream come true. House demolition, lot clearing, debris removal, and concrete work available too. When you need material for your next project, Flannery Materials has you covered.
Who doesn't love ice cream? Enter the Birthday Club contest at WJFW.com for your chance to win a free single scoop of ice cream from the country store of Eagle River. Watch Newswatch 12 today, Monday through Friday, to see the lucky winner of the day. This summer, submit your favorite water photo to the Summer Fun in the Water contest for your chance to win an ice cream cone at Pirates Hideaway. Submit your summer fun photos at WJFW.com. Sponsored by Pirates Hideaway. Join the conversation when you're on the go. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date. Newswatch 12, from where you live.
And we end tonight with the Iowa State Fair that is known for its many competitions, but there was one Friday that allowed kids to yell one of their favorite words, Mom. KCRG's Connor Hendricks explains.
It's an Iowa State Fair tradition.
Mom, I want a corn dog. I want to call Nana. Nana, Mom will buy me a corn dog. Mom, let's go to the park. Mom.
Friday, 18 kids aged 5 to 9 took part in the annual Mom Calling Contest. Sawyer Cope is from Camrar, Iowa, and got 3rd place.
Bob, that's Chase Swinny into the gutter extensions again. Bob, he ripped out the gutter.
Sawyer says he uses his call frequently.
Our dog Max likes to rip off gutters and stuff because there's this animal that he hates and chases them into the extensions. And then he chases them up them, and then he rips off the gutter to try and get it out of the extension.
Sawyer is a veteran of the Mom Calling Contest.
Like 2 or 3 more times.
Wow. So you're going to do it almost every year?
Probably.
You think you'll do it again next year, too?
Yeah.
Tinley Prather from Mount Sterling, Illinois, got 7th place.
Mom, come here, it's an emergency. Hazel stuck a pee up her nose. They have no new diapers because the dog ate them up, and most importantly, my Nintendo Switch died.
While this call may have sounded distressing,
Mom, I need you. Mom.
it got Abbott from Ankeny 1st place. Let's just hope Mom answers next time when...
Well, gentlemen, I don't know about you, but I was a young boy once, and I can definitely relate to how loud those kids were yelling, Mom.
Well, for me, if I were to do that to my mom, she would think something terrible happened every time, so I try not to, scare her too much.
Yeah, I'd personally, if you were shutting your eyes to that last one, you'd probably think something is happening, and then the kid did a cartwheel. So
yeah, that would surprise me for sure.
Yeah, definitely, moms are there to handle all of life's storms. Speaking of storms, Chase, what are we looking at outside?
No, we're not dealing with any storms out there. For tonight, we're going to deal with some fog. It looks like up by Ironwood right now, they're dealing with only a mile of visibility right now as fog is starting to settle in. And for us, it's just about to settle in. 9 miles of visibility in Rhinelander. It's a little bit less in Tomahawk, 7 miles. More of that fog is going to come in right around midnight. And for tomorrow, looks like we'll have a high right around 77 degrees in the Northwoods. Maybe a few stray showers, but other than that, it is going to be a beautiful day. Take a look at that 7-day forecast. Looks like lots of sunshine throughout the whole week. And then going into the weekend, we'll have temperatures right around those mid to upper 80s. So it's going to get very hot out there.
Thank you very much, Chase, and thank you, Will. That'll be Newswatch 12 for this Sunday night. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great night, everybody.
This message is to all homeowners, businesses, and churches that need a new roof.
Most people know American Quality Homes as Wisconsin's premier roofing experts.
As remodelers, we see a lot of roofs. We have found that 90% of roofs we inspect have mistakes. As for pricing, big roofing companies are charging way too much. So at American Quality Homes, we've decided to do something about it.
We're making a pledge to all homeowners who need a new roof. Our pledge is simple. 1, your roof will be done right the first time. 2, you will get the very best value guaranteed. And 3, all of our projects are backed with an insurance policy.
You need an AQH roof. Go to aqhroofs.com. That's aqhroofs.com.
Life was not normal because of the pain, and I relied on a walker to get from point A to point B.
Are you struggling with chronic joint pain? At Integrated Pain Solutions, we use high-intensity laser therapy to treat the root cause of your chronic pain.
This opportunity at Integrated Pain Solutions has really been my salvation.
Choose relief today. Schedule your no-cost consultation at 844-200-PAIN or visit integratedpainsolutions.com.
North Central Wisconsin Antique Steam and Gas Show. August 23rd through the 25th in Edgar, Wisconsin. It's 80 acres of good old-fashioned fun for the entire family. Take a step back in time with